flying the friendly skies for over 80 years. As the world shrinks, can this jet giant fly further? Or will headwinds slow its rise?
Yesterday was a pretty crazy day for the airline contingent. Some of the largest carriers seemingly played a game of musical chairs with their management teams. Scott Kirby, the president of American Airlines, was let go by that airline and immediately was named new president of United Continental. Investors lapped up this move, sending UL stock up more than 8% yesterday, as the hiring of Kirby was viewed as a major positive for this airline that has spent most of 2016 being treated as a punching bag by both the market and two activist firms that have been hounding these guys. So with its new management team in place, does this company have what it takes to send its stock higher despite a challenging environment? Let's talk with Oscar Munoz. He's the CEO of United Continental, who's closing in on his one-year anniversary at the helm. All right, Oscar, the other day, Scott Kirby came from American to you. He was let go by American, and your stock went up $1.2 billion. Is that a metaphor for what people feel he can bring to it? How could one guy be able to move the needle that much?
Listen, Scott's a great guy. He's a well-known commodity in the airline industry. I've had a chance to meet people all over the world, and there's probably less than a handful of folks that have that level of intellect and understanding of the puzzle that networks are in the airline industry. And he's a great addition to the team, and we're glad to have him.
Some people feel that he was brought on because there are still issues in terms of the logistics and how the airline is run. You've been there for years. There's been metrics that have improved, but everybody can do more improvement?
Well, listen, first and foremost, the team, operating team in particular at United for the last year has done an amazing job of transforming. Greg Hart, who's our operations leader, has done a terrific, wonderful job, and his team across the board on time, baggage. You just go down the list. We've really taken a step upwards. I think the addition of Scott, and not only Scott, but Andrew Levy and Julia Haywood, and the rest of the team that's in place. Our IT person, Linda Jojo's new. And it's just been a terrific team that's already been doing some of that. Scott's just kind of the icing on the cake, so to speak, for us.
Well, as someone who follows the stocks, what I find most interesting is this is supposed to be the halcyon days. Herb Keller told me that. He said, listen, I don't know why the stocks sell at these low multiples, because it's ridiculous. I mean, your stock sells at 6 times earnings, the lowest of any stock I follow. And I have to believe that the issue is, as was Jim Compton said on the call, we have seen capacity grow faster than demand. How can that change?
Well, it changes in many ways, and that's a great and perfect example of the strategy work that we're doing at United with some of the new people and some of the old, and with the addition of Scott. I think, from my perspective, not coming from the industry, solving that particular solution is going to take someone that's had a lot of experience, along with the things that we've been doing with regards to labor and the rest of the employees.
Yeah, but in the end, it's not really up to you. I mean, if American comes in and cuts your price, or Spirit comes in, I mean, one of the things that happened, I thought we were done with price wars, Oscar. How could we have price wars again?
Well, listen, I'm going to stay away from the whole pricing angle with regards to this
Why you understand, because we know that this industry is always under a bit of pressure.
No, listen, I think, I think if you harken back to the days when you followed us at CSX, I thought the consolidation and the market discipline that all the players in a competitive world brought to the industry, I think that's a great example of what we can and have done and will continue to do, I think, in this airline industry.
Now, one of the things that, let's talk about capacity increase. We get the feeling that at any given time the capacity could go up, but you're using 1.5. I mean, that should theoretically lead to higher fares. Now, look, our viewers don't want that, but the shareholders want higher fares. Is it possible?
I think it's a competitive, dynamic world. And so we are market-based by and large, and have to differentiate our product in many ways. Pricing isn't just the only one.
Okay, how do you allocate your capital? Because you've got $2 billion buyback, market capitalization $16 billion. I mean, would you be satisfied if this is a company that you put in, you bought $2 billion worth of planes? Or is it better to buy back the stock? Because it really hasn't done anything. The buyback has not worked, so to speak.
Listen, capital allocation is something that people theorize about all the time. I think there's a balance and a degree. So what is our long-term strategy? What do we need to fund that? We need assets, resources, planes, facilities. We also need to satisfy part of our shareowner group, and that's where the buyback comes in. At some point in time, we hope to get to a healthy place where we can also announce a dividend. And I think later this year, when we announce sort of our long-term strategic view of the world, I think you'll see a very disciplined and very structured form of capital allocation that this company is going to do going forward.
At the same time, short term, we've got still too strong a dollar. We've got people who are who are scared. There's a lot of fear in the world about going even to Europe. We have a competitive dynamic. That makes it so it's so hard to have better numbers year over year. Wall Street does not like to own stocks where the numbers are down year over year, and yet we have seen nothing but year over year declines. When can that end?
Well, when it can end, you know how it works. It's a cyclical world.
Right.
We always have ups and downs. My job, our job, the new team's job is to prepare for all sorts of the ups and downs. And right now we're facing a little bit of headwind with regards to the economy and fuel and those issues. That's why you put a great team together. That's why you put a strategy that takes care of all the different sort of cyclical events. And then when it pops up, you're ready to go.
All right, now you had activists came in. I remember I thought that they were unfortunately timed because you had some health issues. Congratulations. I understand that you made a good comeback, obviously, with a new heart. But have they been? Are they satisfied given the metrics that improved, or are they giving you a hard time on the board?
No, listen, the board is still in its norming and forming stage, but they've been very helpful across the board. Our pre-existing board members, our new board members, our labor leader board members. I think it's a group that at a point in time, we may have the best board in the industry along with the best management team, so we're ready to go.
Well, we know Jim Whitehurst well from Red Hat, who was previously in the industry. What's his contribution to the board? Delightful. From a standpoint of knowledge of the business, just sheer intellect and knowledge about all things. Plus, he's been a great, like a lot of other board members, great mentor with regards to the things that we're trying to do in the business. As we've recruited our folks, as a perfect example, he has a level of insight and knowledge about the technical acumen required for folks. So we've had the good fortune to have him help me interview some of these folks to make sure that beyond the leadership capabilities, which they all have, do they also have the technical capability to do the complex work. You did a fabulous job at CSX. What's the difference between a railroad where they tend not to have that much competition and the airlines? Because on time matters a lot, capital matters a lot, what to do, whether by locomotives, you have got sometimes fractious labor situations. Give me the difference between CSX, which did great under you, of course, and Mr. Ward.
There was a great team, and Michael and the team, and I think I'd be remiss if I didn't correct your statement that it is indeed a very competitive industry over in the rail space.
Yeah, because you do have trucking. That's absolutely true.
And each other. So listen, I think at the end of the day, the difference is it is more of a people business at the airline. Every day, over the course of the year, 140 million customers, and I have 86,000 professionals that in some way, shape, or form touch those people. So I need to absolutely engage and create that shared purpose for our employees. And we've been hard at work with that from our labor perspective, from our management groups. We need to treat people better.
All right, let's give you a little lightning round here. Worried about Zika?
The Miami thing has been a little concerning but contained. We're doing a lot of decontamination of aircraft to make sure to regulate, but we hope it doesn't spread.
Traffic down those routes?
Listen, you had Brazil and you had the Olympics, so you had an uptick.
Exactly.
But no, Central America has been relatively soft over some time, not necessarily Zika oriented.
Oil going down, but a lot of times you get hedged and you don't do as well as we think.
Yeah, oil is going to do its thing. It's volatile, and we will act accordingly.
Okay, how about Cuba? Saw a flight
Cuba's
there.
terrific. Well, we've got exactly what we need. We've got daily flights out of here at EWR. We got a Saturday out of Houston, and I think that's a great frequency from our perspective.
And then last question, business travel, because we want to get a sense from you about how well this country's doing.
Yeah, well, the energy sector is hurting big. The banking world and consulting world continues at a fairly moderate pace, although a little bit slower. It's been summer, so now coming back in September, we'll hopefully see the uptick we normally see when people get back to work.
Excellent. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. That's Oscar Munoz. He's the CEO of United Continental Holdings. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.